Hello friends, Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Now, this is a great episode because for the rest of us, I would absolutely lump all of us into the category called we are souls here on a mission. The rest of us. Some people out there in marketing land just want to advertise and market in a way that makes a transaction and creates buco bucks and all of that. That's great, good for them. And for you and I, the rest of us, there is something else that is driving us. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that you're being driven by something beyond a dollar? Now, it's not to say that we don't feel a financial pinch at times. It's not to say that we don't value money. It's not to say that we don't need money. Not to say that we don't want more money. But you and I are clear that there is something bigger leading us in this world, and it is not the dollar. You and I are souls on a mission on this planet. We, for some reason, are hardwired for impact and contribution, and we want to help as many people as possible. So, with that as the backdrop to this conversation, I want to relay a digital conversation I had today, briefly with somebody in one of my programs, because it points to a very subtle thing that we do nowadays. Like one of the things, so here's I'll give you this story and then I'll fill it in. So in this 6-week intensive program that I have created, it's intensive. And we do that on purpose so that you can get to the results faster, right? Most people want results like faster. Okay, well, to do that, we have to get more reps. We have to get more done in a shorter amount of time so you can go out in the world and start to produce the result you've been wanting to produce. And in that, I ask you to do some videos. I ask you to create videos. And part of the feedback today was just that the videos, this person was gun shy to do more videos. Like they've been doing videos well and consistently, and they're getting good feedback on those videos. And I think I haven't fully had a voice-to-voice conversation, but my hunch is that there is some resistance that's come up in that. Like it doesn't feel great. They're probably checking out how many likes and comments they're getting. They don't feel like they're getting enough engagement on those posts. And so my guess is they're starting to be concerned or worry that they're spending time, lots of time, on videos, and lots of time, look, if we actually broke that down, lots of time might be an hour a day. It's not an hour-long video, but with preparation and thinking about it, chewing on it, stewing on it, and then actually doing the video, let's just round up and say an hour a day. So, look, in the bigger scheme of things, that's what the number is, let's say, an hour a day. But there's a bigger stress. The problem is there's a bigger stress that comes with that energy output when you're doing an hour video a day, an hour of preparing and then doing let's say it's a 5 to 10 minute video. There's a lot of stress that happens, especially if, and this was the case for this person, especially if in the past you've had seasons where you've given your time, you've burned your candle at both ends in the name of producing a result, being committed. This time I'm really going to do it. And you do it, and you do it, and you do it some more, and you keep doing it. And at the end of all of that energy expended, you have nothing to show for it. When all the people said, oh, you just got to keep doing it, don't give up, you went as far as you thought you could, and you're like, this is crazy, I'm not going any further. I have sabotaged myself, I have run myself into the ground, I am exhausted, I am tired, I will not do this anymore. And you put your foot down. And in that moment, you cut off possibility. Because in that moment, you made something mean something. You made all of that effort that you put in mean that it doesn't produce a result. And if I were to ever put that kind of effort into something again, it also would not produce a result. Why? Because I've already done that. You say to yourself, oh no, I've been there and done that. So when somebody in the future asks you to step up and produce in an intensive way, bam, the flags go up, the bells sound, the radar's going crazy, and you're like, this feels familiar. I feel like I've been down this road where I've expended energy and had nothing to show. And this was where we were at today, right? This was the conversation. And so one of the things that they said was, I need to make sure that I honor my time, right? And that's, yes, you have to honor, especially coming out of a season of life where you were so you were so earnest, you were so invested in building something that you gave your time so passionately to the cause, to the thing, right? And so you need to honor your time. Meaning, let's clarify that, because that's a very broad and general statement. Honoring your time means actually honoring yourself. It means honoring your energy. It means honoring your boundaries. It means knowing what is your strength and what is not your strength, and honoring your strengths. So there is some honoring that you can learn, that you can bring into this season of life based on what you learned in the past seasons of your life. So there is much honoring to do. I totally and wholeheartedly agree. And I want you to look at time and this conversation of honoring in the context of how I started this episode, which is you are a soul here on a mission, and you are not being pulled by the mighty dollar. You are being pulled by something much bigger, much more important, much more meaningful to you than a dollar, right? If you are a soul here on a mission, what could be more honoring to you, the soul, and what could be more honoring to the time you spend or invest than to share your message, to lead a conversation that your soul is here to lead? How many hours in the day could you do that? I'm not saying you have to do it 24 hours in a day, but absolutely for your soul to feel on purpose and for you to experience meaning in work, you want to get good at. Now listen, here's the rub, I think. This is the rub, and I think this is where some resistance was coming for this person, and where it comes for all of us. It comes for me too. When you're learning a new skill, when you feel squeezed by, I don't feel confident in this because I don't have mastery yet, right? You're either unconsciously incompetent, or you are, from what really more is the case, is you are consciously incompetent. You are now consciously aware that you are not doing the best of your ability, and it feels uncomfortable. And then that triggers those bells and radar warnings of like, this feels like it used to feel. And when it feels like it used to feel, you get scared and you're like, man, I don't want to invest time like I did before and have nothing to show for it. And so now you've shifted into an old thought pattern, an old energy, an old vibration, and you've missed the point that inside of, at least with me in this program, inside of where the work we have done to isolate your truth and to focus in on the conversation you really want to lead. Now that you're clear on that, you could do videos from now until the rest of your life and know that you're on purpose and making a difference. And that this work, this capturing of your truth, is the absolute highest form of honoring your time. Why? Because you as a soul on a mission are here for a purpose. You're not here to check out and sip Mai Tais. You're here for impact. You're here for purpose. And so once you have access to your truth, and that's a whole other conversation in itself, isn't it? Because a lot of us have a truth, we just don't have access to it. But as you go through this program, as you go through my program and we get in touch with and we get access to your truth, then we start to pave the way for you to share that truth ongoingly. And so it becomes the highest honoring of your time to continue to share the truth. And knowing that dollars are a fruit of your truth. The more you share your truth, over time you are developing a root system down in the ground that will grow a large tree, and from large trees come much fruit. But if you're in an old thought pattern, if you're remembering the old days when you spent a lot of energy and you had no fruit, what was missing for you? Listen, what was missing for you was you had no root structure. You had no roots deep into the earth to produce a tall and thriving tree that could yield much fruit. You took somebody's course and they said, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. And you produced videos and produced videos and produced videos. And you may have had an expenditure of energy which looked like growth as it relates to the amount of content you produced, but you had no roots in truth. And so your tree had no yield. There was no fruit. I saw a friend the other day on Facebook. He does gardening. He has his own garden, and he had this like huge tomato. I want to say this tomato was like almost the size of a cantaloupe, right? It was huge, and what he said was, the secret is in the soil. The secret is in the soil, right? And similarly, right? Like, it's not. In your content, in your marketing, it's not that you just crank out a video a day and that's what makes it work. It's that your roots are buried into the earth, into your truth. This root structure is taking nutrients and growing from your truth. And it's the truth that creates the yield. Right? And this is why people till the soil. They stir up the nutrients. And some of you need to this is why we keep creating content. We don't create content once and then we're done. We keep creating it because as we keep iterating content in our truth, it's tilling the soil and finding new truths under the surface. It's like pulling more back and pulling more back. And as we pull more things back, more nutrients rise. And that creates more truth. So let's wrap with this, okay? What I want you to understand is that the expenditure of your time, when you think of spending your time the way you used to, it had no yield because it had no root structure in truth. And so you could have done 5 videos a day for 5 years and you could have minimal to no results because your roots weren't, your tree wasn't rooted in your truth. And the conversation of honoring your time needs to be reframed for you as a soul. You are a spiritual being having a minor physical experience. So the honoring of time really needs to default to the spiritual goal, the spiritual intention. And then you can you can honor your time as a spiritual, having a minor physical experience. You can honor time for recovery and getting your energy back and taking care of you. But don't use the conversation of like, I need to honor my time. Especially if, listen, let me shoot this super straight here for a minute. Especially if I came to your house and looked at your calendar and you had a lot of margin in your day. Like, listen, if you're doing back-to-back meetings, like hour-long meetings for 5-6 hours a day, I get it, right? And you could still honor your time as a soul on a mission by creating a video. But in the event that you don't have 5 or 6 back-to-back hours in work, and you actually have, my experience is most of us solopreneurs have more cushion in our calendar than we're willing to admit. And we're moreover, what the issue is that we're overwhelmed by all there is to do and a new skill set and our unconscious and our conscious incompetence than it is actually that I have no time in a day and I really need to honor my time. That's actually probably closer to what's going on, right? Is that we're feeling squeezed by something new. and we're feeling scared by something old. We're feeling scared by an old pattern, and we're feeling squeezed by a new skill set. And in your current day, if you looked at your calendar, there's lots of time for you to honor for yourself and your well-being. And there's also time for you to create a video that shares your truth with your tribe so that they can benefit from your life lessons. So this whole point, the whole point of this video is just simply to say, like, let's not collapse the circles. Let's not collapse what's happening. Let's get very clear and honest about what's really going on so that we can actually honor the time that we want to honor for our well-being and make the difference and the impact that we're here to make. All right, gang, thanks for hanging out with me. If you want to learn more about how I help people do this, how do I help you find your truth so that your roots are anchored in and rooted in your truth, so that there is a bigger yield in your effort. My 6-week program is a great place to start, right? It's called the Groundswell Method Intensive. Now, if you're interested in that, you really need to take the Marketing for the Rest of Us, the course. It is a free course, just over 5 videos, or 5 videos, just over 90 minutes. And that is a free course. And if that course gives you a taste of something that feels good to you, then that is a foreshadowing of what we cover in the 6-week program. On the last page of the free course, you can actually apply for our next upcoming 6-week program. So that is my invitation. Go to groundswellmethod.com to start the free course. And on the last page, you can apply for the 6-week program if that feels right to you. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you tomorrow.